Hello and welcome to another video. So I recently tried to beat the Mastermind, but unfortunately I have not been able to beat him yet. However, I played pretty strong and I did have chances, and I feel like, learning from your losses is just as important as learning from your wins. So, okay. So, this is the first game that I played against him. I played a couple of games because, after the first game, I was just like, I know that I can do it. So, I started with d4, started with knight f6, which is the start of the Indian game. d5, this isn't really a queen's gambit, because the queen's gambit would need a pawn here, and it's supposed to be gambiting a pawn, or like giving it away for positional advantage. So opponent continues with their moves, I continue with mine. I can get 3 pawns in the center, bring the knights out to support this one. Whenever I'm playing against the king's Indian defense, I've been playing the 4 pawns attack, and that's what this is, I don't think it's that great, and a lot of the pros I don't think play it, but I think it's a fun opening, and I've been trying to memorize, all the theory associated with it because, I like variety. So I've got 4 pawns in the center, he castles, just develop the knight, pins. I remember like reviewing this, and I thought that this was like a really bad move. Was I supposed to do this? I don't remember what it was. No. I think whenever the bishop comes here, I'm supposed to just cool as a cucumber, just defend it. So he strikes back in the center immediately, which I was expecting at a certain point. So I close it up, but it does make this bishop uber strong, like later. He takes, I take back, and I thought that I had a really good position, and I was supposed to like steamroll him on the king side. So he brings the knight out, logical, put pressure on this pawn long term, and then there's this. Well, there's not this right now. So I decided that I was going to go for an all-out king side attack, Do you feel intimidated? I mean, he's got all these pieces over here, so, I spent a lot of time, making these moves, trying to make sure that it was right, but he moves the knight back. So, do you see this? So queen comes out. It pins the knight. Does it do... Okay, so I had to do something about this, because he's got 1, 2, alright? So if he takes with the bishop, and I take back, he takes the queen. Okay, never mind. I had this block, so this rook was never actually hanging, but this pawn would be hanging. So I guess the idea is here, 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 takes. Also, that's a threat. No, it's not. No, it's not, because it's defended. So I just decided to defend it, and if I need to move the knight at a certain point, I could. Discover attack on the queen. Queen moves back, is attacking this pawn. So I defended the pawn, and indirectly am defending this pawn as well. So I continue with my attack because this doesn't do anything. Except for throw away my advantage, apparently. So now he's got 2 pounds of pressure. 1, 2. I've only got 1 defender, so I have to redefend. Okay. So he brings his knight to the center of the board. I take. He takes back. I move the queen over here. I've got a battery on this one. So he defends, which I calculated in the game. So then I push this pawn. If takes, takes. What was I thinking? What on earth was I thinking? Takes, takes, takes. I remember I spent so much time thinking about this. There was a win here in this situation. What was it? This is defended. Takes. I think I wanted to bring the knight out. I think I was trying to get the knight to here, to dislodge the knight, and if I dislodged the knight and this pawn had moved, I could I had options. So I pushed the pawn. Takes. I wasn't expecting that. So I needed to get the rook away. This was scary. This was very scary for me, but I was just like, okay, then I just do this. Maybe I was scared about this. That doesn't work either. But I was really scared, and I understand that this bishop is hanging. But is it? It's defending mate. Alright. So, I move... I understand. I blundered earlier. I understand. I was so stressed out because I knew that this takes... No, I would have to take with this one. Because takes, I lose the rook. I can't lose the rook, you know? Takes with the rook, drops here. No, it doesn't. Well, I don't know. So, knight comes out. So, I'm attacking the rook, right? That was the idea. If I can dislodge the rook, then I can mate him here. So I knew that this was coming. I knew that this was a major threat. Even before he put the knight here, I knew that this was a threat at some point. Like, even here? No, was it? Yeah, it was here. Because if he had taken, then I take back, then he takes, and takes, check, and forks. So I had made the executive decision that if he does this, I will not take back. That was the idea. As scary as that was, I need to dislodge this guy. So, now I'm defending the knight. So if takes, shit, that doesn't work like that. So, because if takes, and it's still defending, so it's all good. So he brings out the knight. Now he's got two attackers on here, and I just lost a defender. So his idea does work, but I was hoping that my attack would be faster. So I take it, and I fucking hung my fucking rook. And when I saw this, I was so devastated. I was devastated. I should have done this, but I didn't. And then I got mated. And I was so upset with myself because look at this. 2 brilliant moves. So, d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, g7, e4, d6, f4. This is all theory against the King's Indian defense. And it's kind of easy for, players to remember because, you just have to move all the pawns into the center. I knew that it was kind of like quote-unquote dubious to play the 4 pawns attack against such a strong bot. Brings out the knight, pins it, unpins it, strikes back at the center. I was expecting this. You want me to take. Okay. Don't go for the queen trade. Yeah, that makes sense. Takes. Don't take back. I've seen this before. So if he does this... What do I do? Do I take back? No, that's a mistake. That's greedy. Should have just castled. Alright, good to know. In the future, if I ever see this specific sequence, also, if I'm ever playing this, let me show me the follow-ups. Why would I allow that? Why? Oh, that's why. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Mm-hmm. So if you're playing the King's Indian defense against the 4 pawns attack, that's probably what you want to do, alright? So strike back on this side. Sack a pawn. Queen moves here. You cannot take back, otherwise this happens. It's, excuse me, it's pinned, it's attacked. Oh, that's not how that works. Oops. It's attacked, it's attacked. I can't do anything. I can't, well, I could try to defend against it. Yeah. Well, good for me for not playing into that at all. I didn't really want the pawn. I wanted to keep it locked in. It also prevents the knight from coming out. Why would I do this? Why would I do this? You know? And then the rook comes in. Just like, and this is why I am not as good and strong as Mr. the MasterMind-Bot. So he takes, which I knew was inaccurate. I took back. He brings out his knight to the only square. I didn't want the square to get here. Doesn't even like this. Should have just castled. But I really wanted to go all out for an attack. Moves the knight back. Best move. Queen comes out now, which is inaccurate. This is a great move, it says. So now it's attacking. Best move, defense. And I threw away a lot of my advantage. I was looking at this move. Oh. My sister, who I don't normally talk to, wishes me a happy birthday as well. I threw away all of my advantage. Well, not all of it, but it's close to equal now with that. So, defends. Takes. Excellent. Alright. Here. Okay, I'm still okay. I'm not okay. What am I talking about? Oh, my move is faster. If takes, mates. So defends mate. It's, well, I mean, okay, but I had a plan, alright? Takes back. It's brilliant. Look at that. So after all of my calculation, you know, I said if takes back, you know, and this is a brilliant move, even though it hangs this guy and actually puts more pressure on this position, I needed to get this guy out of here. So, I saw the threat. Here, wait, not in that order. So here, this moves out of the way. Here, if takes back here, and then I lose the rook. So I'm trying not to lose the entire house here. So, back-to-back brilliant moves here. So, I need to get this knight out of here. And the only way I could think of to do so was to, well, I mean, one of the reasons I did all of this was just simply to get the knight over here, but I thought it was too slow. I thought 1, 2, I mean, even if it gets here, that doesn't do much, you know? Maybe here, here, that doesn't do enough either. I did consider this in the game. I spent some time thinking about it because I knew that it would counterattack both of them, but I was concerned about this. And then what? I wouldn't be able to do this anymore because the knight's not there, and the knight's not, it's not protecting this square. I could have just moved it this way. Wow. Wow. Could have just done that. But I didn't. So, no, I threw away my entire position against this guy, you know. I knew, I knew this was coming at some point. I was hoping that I had enough time. I was expecting this, to be honest with you. I completely forgot that this guy was also doing another job. I'm already completely losing, you know. It's just like I was just like so sad. I was so disappointed with myself, you know. It was like my first game against this guy. I was so close to winning, so close to winning, but I lost. So, I took a break, and I decided to try again. The white pieces again, I guess. So I started with e4. Started with a Sicilian defense. Pawn 2. I'm sorry, you don't have to say pawn 2. You just say the letter and the number. So, what is this? c5. c5 is the start of the Sicilian defense. So I'm going for Ponziani. I was actually watching a Gotham Chess video this morning. If you haven't watched and subscribed to Gotham Chess, you probably should. He's so much better than me. He was doing a video with his wife this morning, which I thought was very nice, and he recommends to her, apologies for the noise, to play the Ponziani, which is, I've got this Mustang sounding car, you know. Does this turn you on? Do these loud noises turn you on? Can't be helped, you know. They're pleased with their car. Let them have their cars. Just like I've got my chess game, you know. Let me have my chess game. So, that comes out to defend the pawn. I wasn't sure what to do in this position, you know. I guess here would have been fine. I don't know, but I move here. I wanted to defend the pawn. I was thinking I could get the. I don't play the Ponziani. So, this isn't. I don't think this is called a Marazzi bind, or maybe it is. I'm not entirely sure. But I decide to attack it immediately. He defends it. So the idea was take, and then I could win a pawn. Not that that's entirely like impressive or anything, but you know, any plan is better than no plan at all, right? I wasn't expecting this. I was really expecting this, which would have nerfed his bishop, you know, and then, you know, created an outpost square at some point for my knight to go here. At some point, but not anytime soon. So I just decide to castle. So he says, "What are you doing with your bishop, sir?" And I didn't want this. I didn't want this, but he castles. So, throwing out in the center didn't seem like the best move to me, because throws out, takes. Wait, what? Here, wait, here. Yeah, no. So the knight would end up here, and it would fork both these pieces, which I didn't want. I wanted to open up the bishop, get it to do more. I wanted to put it here, but I knew that this would come at a certain point, and he'd go for the bishop. I didn't want to play this. I did not want to play this and create a hook. So, logical, trying to get the bishop to the long diagonal, put long-term pressure, get ready for a queenside attack. My pieces aren't developed here. So I decided to get the bishop to the most active square that I could think of. He says, what are you doing, sir? So I bring it back. I didn't want it here because then the queen gets here and then it's going to put more pressure here. So I bring out the knight. So I knew this was coming at a point. And I thought that sacking here would be a good idea. So I win 2 pawns. I shatter his entire pawn shelter, you know? So now the king is like more exposed, and this knight can't move. And the queen has to stay guarding it for a while. So I will, what was I thinking? I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I wanted to, here. I wanted to do this immediately. I wanted, to be honest with you, in the game, I really wanted to do this move. And takes, and if takes, well, at here. I also was thinking if takes, then I don't have to take back. I can, like, you know, get another piece into the game. But I decided to play solidly because this guy's so much better than me, and I decided to build up for it instead. Wasn't expecting that, so I continued with my plan. Even if this guy moves, I would just trade, and then I would take, and then I would have like this open rook, or at least that was the idea. I mean, that would give him this, I guess. So he goes for that. I changed the plan, and I decided to bring the knight out. So if takes, then I'll take back. If takes, then I'll take back. And I feel like I still keep the initiative in the game. You know, his pieces aren't doing anything in these too helpful right now. So if he does take back, and if he had taken back, I would just brought it back. So he takes, I take with the pawn. I did consider briefly taking with the knight, but I didn't want to give him the advantage. If he wants to give up the bishop, then I will take the bishop. And that's what happened. So I was trying to figure out what to do here. I knew I didn't want him to reinforce his pawn. I also knew that I wanted to double up these rooks and try to really target this king. So I thought that this move had initiative. So it makes the queen do something. Queen finds this check. I was a bit disappointed. I mean, I knew that this would probably happen, but I thought, you know, I would just like move the king away and be fine. So I saw this move and I got annoyed. I got really annoyed that they just had this defensive resource. I didn't want to move the rook over here because, you know, the king just like, I don't know. I don't know what it was. So I just bring it back. I want you out of my position. Gets out of my position. I double up. I knew that this was coming, and this did come. And the idea is I can't take, or I lose a rook. Or I could take, and then I still lose a rook, and this piece gets here. And, you know, I was just like, okay, what do I do about this situation, you know? Just like, you know, how the turntables have turned. So I need to get the king out of the pin. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what I can't take. Well, I mean, I could take, but I would keep initiative for a while. But then this rook comes in, just like this rook comes in, just like, how? Just like, the king is exposed, and I can't get to him. And this doesn't work, because this bishop is protecting, and I just... So, I'm playing this long-term maneuvering game. I didn't want the queen to get back here. So, even here. I was trying to get the queen here and get... Well, I mean, I think I did that in the game. I did a pretty good job of, well, not that one, anticipating my opponent's moves. So, trying to protect here, trying to protect here. This is still protected, even if the queen goes here. And I wanted to get the bishop here instead. So he attacks my pawn chain. So I defend it. So if it takes, I'm already dead lost. Dead lost. I just didn't realize it yet. Alright. So, brings another rook in. This is the threat. I can't advance it. So I bring the rook back. Just like looking at this evaluation bar, it's just like making me sad. I mean, I guess the idea was if takes, well, I mean, maybe I should have like tried for that first. I did have time, then here and here. So he goes for it. I decided to double up. I mean, it's still not. Just like, I don't know. I'm getting stressed out. This guy's so much better than me, you know? I can take. No, I mean. So he's trying to force this. Did I really allow this fork? It's not a fork. It's not a fork. It's not a fork. It's just a trade. Okay. Okay, that's why I allowed it. Yeah, so now he's got the open file, which I was really sad about. I didn't. Moves the queen to safety. Takes. I consider briefly doing this, but it's doing a very important job, this pawn. So I needed to keep him here to keep the knight out. So takes. I've got 2 pawns in the center. I was just like, this gotta count for something, you know? So he moves out of the check of this diagonal. So I nerf his bishop. If he wants to take, I mean, I guess he could sack back and... Okay, he's only a pawn up, so, you know, and that's from the sacrifice that I did earlier. I like, looked at this, but then this, and it's just like, I had no attacking potential, really. So, let's bring in the knight. So, I spent a lot of time and I made this move. I was trying to create like a square. I wanted to prevent this. I wanted to get the knight out of the position so I could check him and, like, you know, move forward into the position somehow. So check. I guard this pawn. I spent a lot of time on this one. So this is guarded. This is guarded. This is guarded. Everything is guarded right now. And, you know, I was scared about this. Like king takes. Alright, so the knight's coming in, you know. I was really scared about this too. Because, I mean, that doesn't, I mean, yeah. I was getting really stressed out and also prevents this. So, goes for a trade. And it's important that I did not take back with the queen, because then I would lose the bishop. So I take with the king. Check. And I was just like so sad that I mouse slipped. And I was just like, I was so salty. I was so salty, you know? So let's look at the game review. So I played like a 1900. Pretty strong for, you know, my lowly rating. Start with e4. Starts with c5, the Sicilian. c3, the Ponziani. What? No. I sound mad ignorant. Mad ignorant. Wow. Alapin Sicilian. Alapin Sicilian. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. People are gonna roast me in the comments now. Well, that would require people to watch the video in the first place, which people aren't doing. So I guess I don't have to be concerned about that. And, you know, now you know. The more you know. This is the Alapin Sicilian, not the Ponziani. Alapin Sicilian. And also Daniel Naroditsky also recommends the Alapin Sicilian. So that wasn't... Yeah, why didn't you do this? I don't know, because the knight can still go there? Oh. Should have done this. Let's assume this. Now what do I do? Okay. Yeah. That felt like one movitis to me. This at least, you know, had the idea that, okay, whatever. Didn't do that. It allows this, which I probably shouldn't have done. Best move. Castle's best move. King's... Yeah, you would like me to trade, huh? I guess I was concerned that trades, let's say, well, I mean, how am I supposed to do anything about this clamp on the center? Let's say that I do this. Oh, wow, yeah, that would have done something, huh? If only I was better at chess, huh? I guess I was like, okay, let's say that I did this again. Didn't even like it. Okay. So, oh, no, go back. So, did this, castle, I brought it back. It was a mistake, and I only have one good option there. Only one good option, you choose wrong. Yeah, I expected something like that. I mean, I would have played something like this. I mean, to be honest, I've like done something like this before. Best move. An excellent move, but really should have struck back in the center immediately and just like allow that. I don't want to take this, so let's say this. Whatever. Yeah, you would like to do that, wouldn't you? Didn't like this at all. It's a blunder. Yeah. But I was going for initiative. Didn't like this at all. Just like throwing away my advantage. So even here, I mean, I want to build up for this. Completely losing. That's unfortunate. All my ideas are bad. That was just a good move. Should it self-pinned? No, thank you. Yeah, well, if I put it in this corner, you know, it's just like, well, there's still... Okay, at a certain point, but not yet. Oh my goodness. No, wait. Okay, I was gonna say, he's got this, but he doesn't. He has this, but it's not... Well, I mean... Hypothetically, if the rook was not here, he would be able to jump here, and this couldn't take, because it's pinned. But we didn't get that. I flushed the queen out. Rook's the open file. I knew this was coming, and it was very scary. Be fearless, it says. So, playing a maneuvering game. I didn't want to sandwich strikes back. I didn't want to do that. This guy's protecting this guy. That was a mistake. I should have sacked it for a knight. Well, I mean, so 3 + 1 = 4, which is the equivalent of a rook, I guess. But it didn't like this. I was trying to get long-term pressure on this. I mean, it's not doing anything here. Okay, this was scary. Brings the rook back because I wanted to defend, but it was just like, you should really take. And whatever. I don't know anything about chess. So, counterattacks. I mean, enforces the threat of this. So I strike back in the center. This doesn't work, and at a certain point I can push. If takes, I could push. Doesn't work here because he's got that. So he forces a trade. He's still a pawn up. Attacks the queen. Queen is trying to maintain these squares. I was really scared about this. but I would have this. Takes back. I'm already losing, so I mean, it doesn't really matter what I do. Tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it never even mattered. So expected that at some point. It's an excellent move, so checks, blocks, moves the knight to the center, prevents me from infiltrating with my queen, also gunning at this. So I go for rook trade. I don't know what I was thinking here. I just knew that if he was successful in trading here, and then I traded, well, this was, it's just like the entire position was falling apart. That was a mouse slip. I went to go take the queen, but whatever. This moves, my knight, my bishop is, look, miserable, you know? And it's just like, well, I could counterattack here, but how am I supposed to stop this? Well, actually, if it moves here, then I might have to do that. That might be better. So takes here, and it would cause some complications, and, you know, maybe I'll be able to do something, but probably not. Anyway, I mouse slipped. I was super sad, and I will have to rematch him again at a later point. Alright, so I hope that this video has been informative and entertaining, and I will catch you in another one.